Enter Sean Baker, one of my favorite director, producer, call it the way you want. The Florida Project, made in 2017, is a movie I truly enjoyed, and this makes some change. I like that thing, and it felt refreshing after getting through Andrea Arnold. We just get a fun movie with kids doing kid stuff and more bad parenting, but it's interesting how the bad parenting there is nowhere near as bad as like some mom having a bunch of guests just effing around in the apartment while having the kids. Well, actually, she also has really bad parenting because spoiler for the Florida Project. Spoiler. Spoiler. In the very end, she is such a terrible mom that she actually lose custody of the kid, and the kid just fly away with her friend because he doesn't want to be separated from her mom. Um, that was something. I will tell you this. Sean Baker is just doing magic. He's doing magic. He sheds some light. He brings some light to a lot of people that we are very judgmental of, and I will always be. I mean, most of the main characters in Sean Baker history outside of Takeout are Streetwalker, Dancer, call it the way you want, except the P word. Simple, right? Maybe I will need to rewatch the Florida Project and Red Rocket with that in mind, but maybe the lady in both movie is the same, but I might be wrong. I didn't dig deep. It's just an hypothesis. I don't know. But that could be interesting. Having like a recurring character throughout one director career or something. I mean, we don't really see a father around the kid, and in Red Rocket, the mom actually has a daughter or whatever, and she doesn't really live anymore with her husband, and they don't have the kids. So I don't know. But anyway, let's get back to Florida Project. So Red Rocket, we got that unique mother that lives with her daughter in a hotel, and basically basically that kid, well, mom is not around to take care of the kid, and that kid doesn't go at school, and that kid decide to chill around and do mischief, whatever you call it, with other kids nearby that hotel as well. And that brings some interesting dynamic with parents. One of the first thing to address would be nice parallel between both parents being polar opposite. One is overly strict, the other doesn't give a crap, which is funny. It's just entertaining. You just wait until that relationship blows up in everyone's face. It's fun. It's good time. The Florida Project is just a movie I enjoyed a lot. Good acting. The kids felt like kids. Like the music was also very good, and the mother partying instead of taking care of her kid was so entertaining. And the kids just, man, they're terrible. They're demons. Um, if you have people that don't want kids, show them that movie. They will just be even harder on not wanting kids. Simple as that. So yeah, the Florida Project, just a fun trip. It's just a fun trip. What can I say? I had no issues whatsoever with that movie. And at the very end, when child services took the kid, it felt kind of earned because she ran after it. The mother was terrible. I mean, she was having bedroom fun. Rewind. She was having bedroom fun with clients in close proximity of her daughter. This is all you create, other street walker folks. Just have your clients while you're babysitting your kid. Um, and it was also very entertaining how the characters interacted with each other. Every other parents around hated the main character for a very valid reason. And yeah, I don't have a lot to say. And it's interesting how the owner of the motel tried really his best. He tried really hard to accommodate that awful client that mistreat really hard some innocent kid. So yeah, overall that movie is just fun. Fun time. 2 hours, bang, done, over. And I am out with a 10 out of 10 for the Florida project. Is it my favorite Sing Baker? Stay tuned to see it or not. Whatever. Next movie. So this time around, we talk about the Florida Project, a movie I liked a lot. And I'm wondering if I am the only one. What did you think of the Florida Project?
No, I loved it a lot, and I think this was really his breakout film as a filmmaker. Only got one award nomination at the Oscars. It was for Willem Dafoe's performance, which was deserved, but I think it should have got a lot more. This is a film that's kind of similar to Little Rascals, if you ever heard of it or seen it, but just like depicting child's lives and stuff like this, and their what they kind of do in their surroundings, I guess, just like slice of life like that, and kind of like an homage to that. And I think it was incredible here, just the whole uh, like premise and surroundings, just very compelling and interesting. And with all the characters, just all the young actors are fantastic in this. All the adult actors are fantastic in this. Yeah.
Amazing. So I will ask you, what did you think of the music overall in that specific Sean Baker movie?
Uh, I mean, there wasn't like too much music in this, but the music that there was in it, it was good, and yeah, just very like great the visual feel to it, just very sharp and good style, and with the outfits and everything, and the production design, just very distinct and with a lot of detail put into it. I really like it, and yeah, and like there isn't much like as much story wise with like things going on in this, but again, that is slice of life. I think does a fantastic job here with it, just as like an experimental film kind of thing. Yeah.
What would you say about the parents of the child, like the parents and basically the main mother, the main character, or the
Yeah.
mother of the child?
Yeah, I
What
mean,
did you think of
yeah,
the
again,
parents?
very accurate to again in real life, sadly, but yeah, again, all these movies he makes just very, very authentic and accurate, and in like these kind of poverty areas, and with people struggling and trying to get money in any way, and yeah, it's just super accurate, and yeah, I think the actors did a fantastic job. Just very real, very relatable as well, in like certain parts of your life that you've experienced at some point, especially as a child.
Yeah, and I will also ask you this. Am I crazy to think there was a very good contrast that was well depicted? The mother was basically like she didn't give a crap, while the other parents on the other end, they really cared and they were very very strict, and that was a very big contrast that was highlighted in many of the scenes. Any thoughts on that?
yeah, I mean, yeah, you can say that. I mean, yeah, they've all had certain issues you can pinpoint, but yeah, that's definitely shown here. And sorry, I'm just trying to remember. Right, that's what I was gonna bring. Yeah, there was probably just like one scene that I didn't like too much, and it was just like the last shot. It was done like kind of digitally. It didn't look the best, which the director kind of like makes fun of himself on Letterbox. I don't know if you've seen his Letterbox, but he's quite popular on there. He's posted a lot of reviews, but he's a good follow if you ever want to follow someone like him. But yeah, he's kind of like made fun of it himself. But yeah, they're like that could have been done better. I understand what he was going for with it though. With that last shot and why I wanted that kind of feel. But yeah,
Any thoughts on the humor? What did you think of the humor?
yeah, humor. I love it in all of his films. Just perfect tone and everything and timing.
Amazing. Now, one one last thing. The mother of the child, destroying all of her relationship, was very fun. What did you think of that approach, where she is so toxic that everyone flee her? What did you think of that?
I thought that was well done, and and again, it wasn't just like abrupt. It was throughout the whole film. And I think it was again very accurate, very well written, and also didn't make her just seem like a complete like evil person though, but just someone who's just extremely desperate and throws caution to the wind. Unfortunately, put in that situation, but yeah,
A broken person, I could add.
yeah.
Um, what would be your
hmm
grade out of 10 for this movie?
Uh, I would give this like a 9 out of 10 at least. And this year specifically, I believe it came out in 2017. Yeah, this is
Yep.
like probably one of the best years for film, in my opinion. I think there's so many films in 20. I'll be honest. Okay, well, when it comes to like the 10 out of 10 films, there's other years that I think are stronger or have more films that I would say are almost perfect like that. But when it comes to just like the amount of like high or mid or low like 9 out of 10 films and like the amount of like 8 out of 10 films and just the amount of films that are like super like in pop culture to this day and that were like made by many like acclaimed filmmakers like 2007 for like the 2010s. I would say like 2017 and 2019 are like two huge years for that.
Very interesting. I can see that happening. Now, um, I will also say that because we are about to move to the next movie. This was my second favorite Sean Baker movie. Um, that's how much I like that one.
Yeah, same.
Uh,
It's my second favorite.
so we have very similar ranking. I
Yeah,
cannot
yeah.
wait.
I wonder if it's the same because yeah, Red Rocket's my third favorite and Nora's my favorite. So
I cannot wait to get into the overall ranking in the end. But
yeah,
any closing thoughts on the Florida project?
no, that's about it. Yeah, and again,
Well,
when it
perfect.
comes to like these films, like you know, it's not that I don't have like a lot to say about it. It's just they're kind of like these are kind of like films that are better to just like kind of experience and there's not as much to like talk about with some of them that wouldn't really get repetitive at least with like the positives or kind of just like experience and type of films kind of like I would say the Lighthouse too where it's kind of like a trip just want to experience.
You travel. You forget where you are, what you're
Yeah,
doing. You're
yeah,
just riding along. So I
yeah.
guess we move on to the next one. The next one is Red Rocket, I
Yes,
believe.
yeah, yeah. This one was a big surprise for me. I because I heard there was a lot of acclaim with it, but at first not as much as some of his other films, which later changed over time though. So I went into it not with the highest of expectations, just thinking it would be good. Oh, that surprised me though. Okay, firstly, the main actor in this, Simon Rex, I think is had probably the best performance of the year. I wish he was recognized. This was like one of his first like main lead performances in a film like this. Like he's been in mostly kind of like some films like Scary Movie and stuff. He was also recently in this one film that they wrapped up filming on. I don't know when it's going to be released, but it was some film called Easy Waltz, which I believe is being directed by like a writer from like True Detective or something like that. But I heard it was kind of like a mess on in production though, and how he was just kind of like sat in the corner the whole time. The director just like didn't want to be there, and like Vince Vaughn and him had to like encourage the crew and all the extras and everything. Because yeah, Bradley and Austin were extras on the film, I believe. So yeah, they kind of confirmed, but yeah, that was just a fun little story there. But yeah, so this was kind of one of his first main breakout performances, and I think it was incredible, and I think he really deserved recognition. This was in the same year where the person who won proceeded to slap somebody over a joke at the Oscar ceremony. So
Oh my, that
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
That
yeah,
guy?
yeah, yeah. Yep, the
Okay.
yo, it's rewind time guy. Yep, good old Will Smith. And you know what? I do not even care about that. I just care that he won an Oscar for such a mediocre performance where he just played himself again, and it's such an Oscar bait film. That's all.
That's
But yeah,
all. Okay.
but
So
yeah, that was incredible. Again, the production design and everything, just incredible as well. I just love the tone of it and the whole world and everything. All the side characters are incredible as well and memorable. Like, and that's the one thing that Sean Baker does a good job with. It's so similar as well to the Safdie brothers films, which I don't know if you've seen yet, like Good Time and Uncut Gems and other filmmakers where they do such a good job with just like every individual character, where even characters that just have like 10 seconds of screen time in the film are still super memorable and fun. So
that's true.
yeah,
I
he
agree.
does a great job with that in this and in Anora, especially. And yeah, visual style, fantastic. Yeah, just another case study of just like job. Yeah.
So I got a few questions about that specific Red Rocket. The first thing was the main character saying everything being wrong in his life would be caused by Alexei. Um, do you think that statement makes sense based on the psychology behind that character? How he is not really able to hold himself accountable. Any thoughts on that?
I'm sorry. I think my thing's lagging. You there?
Yeah, yeah. Are you
Yeah.
still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Could you repeat some of that? Like you said, the
Okay.
psychology, like everything to blame
Yeah.
for Lexi or whatever.
Yeah, so the main character was blaming everyone else but himself. So he
Mm-hmm.
had a serious lack of accountability on his way of taking and doing things. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Again, that's yeah, just the character side on that. Yeah, just trying to make himself like look good and look innocent, and kind of bring others down below him. Try to do that, so he seems better than everyone else around him, and just again, trying to get a job, put in, resort into selling drugs or weed, and again, trying to like, hitting on a 17-year-old or whatnot, like yeah, just like not again, not a great person. It's just character study and just another kind of like bad person, just going down more and more, and when they're in this like position, and it's kind of again very similar to Safdie brother film with this, where character is just like kind of like has an addiction to things, and they just keep making decisions that are worse and worse for them. That frustrates you as an audience, and that's kind of the point of it. Just showing that spiral, and yeah, just does a fantastic job with it in this, and the humor in this is just hilarious. I love it.
I agree. And I will also add this. I feel like this is, again, about people exploiting each other and this is a trend with Sean Baker, and I feel like this time around that was the time that was the most present. It was the time that it's so hard how much everyone exploit each other in that movie, like a lot more than Starlet. I feel like that
Hmm.
movie drove it home better than Starlet. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Okay, well, I will ask you. Do you want to add anything else on Red Rocket?
No, that's about it. But yeah, again, this is, I think, the film that's most. I mean, I don't want to say the most underappreciated. That would probably be Scarlet, because it's one that not as many people have seen yet, and up there with his best. So, but this is definitely one though where I think it's probably close to being on the same level as the Florida Project and Anora, but it got completely ignored and like with the awards and everything else. And still, not many people have actually seen this one, surprisingly. So yeah, I wish everybody would do so. So yeah, definitely check it out.
And just before we move on to Anora, I've seen another of my notes that could be interesting to highlight. The main character effing a barely legal one was parodying the industry. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that is the case. Yes, I've always been an issue with that, and yeah, they also did, talked about it in the People versus sorry, the People. What was I forgot the guy's name? The guy who did like the whole Playboy thing or Playhouse. Yeah, the People versus Larry Flint kind of touched on that too. Joanne's not a perfect person at all, but you know, yeah, thought it was a good.
Amazing.
Thought it was well done there, but yeah,
What would be your grade out of 10 for Red Rocket?
I'd give this a 9 out of 10 as well.
That's interesting. I like it. I like it. Now, let's move on to Honora, the peak of Sean Baker.
Yes, yes, and yeah.
The
So this
peak.
film, I will just say though, yeah, there are some people. Has been a trend in like movies lately where it's like a movie will win Best Picture and a bunch of awards, and just because it did so, then people start to turn on it, and just because it won over their personal favorite film, saying it's so fucking stupid. Like holy
I
fuck,
agree.
that doesn't matter. They're just award shows, and he didn't ask for this, and also judging which film is the best of the year. Like, I'm sorry, you're an idiot if you do that stuff. You're an actual idiot, right? It is impossible to judge between like many amazing or good films, all right, because it's subjective and there are different genres and styles and everything. Like, for example, the cinematography in this, I've seen people try to smear the cinematography in this, which is insane because this cinematography is fantastic and with the color palette and lighting and everything, and has many fantastic shots in this. But what they really mean is just the camera work, which, yeah, it's its own, like, it doesn't have like the camera style of like a film like The Brutalist with some of those like shots, or like Barry Lyndon. But yeah, it's a different style in film, so it's like silly to try to like say that's bad or compare it, to like a film that does like a different style like that. So yeah, just like trying to say like, yeah, but it wasn't the best of the year though. It's like that's stupid. All that matters is that it was it a great film, and this was. So everything else doesn't matter. If something like Amelia Perez won, then sure, yeah, go ahead. But which has happened many times, sadly. But yeah, this was fantastic though, and I think some people who try to say that the main character, didn't have a character or like much of an arc or blah blah blah. I don't think actually really quite understood a lot about it. Um,
Her
you know,
arc
our,
was massive.
yeah, yes,
I will already correct this. She thought she at first like she was just making money, and eventually she was like, you know what? Maybe I can have that lifestyle, and maybe through that lifestyle I can really love someone. And you also get to realize she everything she does is a transaction, and it's tragic. There's so many layers to what's going on, and it's been a long time I did see the movie, but her realizing she was just used by Iger, not Iger, by Ivan, sorry, by
Yeah,
the
yes,
oligarch.
it's heartbroken. And again, she's not like a perfect person or character. They don't depict her as such, but still, even then, like you feel bad for her and everything she's going through. And again, she kind of like then real has growth like in the last act and everything, and realizing things and whatnot, and stopping with like that fake persona she kind of like keeps up, especially like the whole last scene of it, which was very emotional and everything. And yeah, like again, it seems like a lot of people also just don't understand like the sex work industry and like the persona they have to put on, or a lot of things about it. And I think if you actually did though, which I had friends who were in it. I still have a couple who like do it on the side, so I'm well versed in it. And yeah, it is extremely accurate, and there's a lot of layers to it, similar to how a lot of people said there weren't a lot of layers or like anything under the surface in the whale, and it was just like cartoonish and stupid and not deep at all and not good, well written, and there wasn't like much character stuff in it. Where I'm just like, okay, I think you might have missed the point of it in areas or missed things, but also might not actually understand too much about like obese people and the stuff they think and go through that, and the people around them and their different ploys and stuff to really understand how deep the writing actually was in it. And it's the same thing here, with her growth throughout and her changes and stuff. And yeah, it's just well done. And now her character was not just like yelling the whole time and everything. That was not just her full performance. People like trying to do that silly stuff when somebody wins an Oscar, and it's like so weird. It's like you can say the same thing with anyone. Like you can say Demi Moore in The Substance. All she did was just stand nude in a mirror and then like wore a jacket and glasses around, and just
Yeah,
it gave the same facial expression, which isn't true at all. But if you want to boil down performances like that, then yeah, you can do that stupid stuff and just ignore all the substance in between. No pun intended there, but yeah, I think it was fantastic there though, and her performance was fantastic. And there's a lot to it there that I think a lot of people missed. And there was something though that people did bring up, and that's they were hoping that the film instead would be kind of like him like dealing with his family and trying to like fight for the marriage and stuff like that. They thought that's what the plot of this film was going to be, and them going through it
yes.
and stuff and trying to escape it. And people said they would have preferred that. And
No,
well,
I
I could,
disagree with
yeah,
them.
well, I can I can semi understand like what they meant, and because they think like it would have gave that character more of like a character, and they thought maybe it was just like a bit like empty, just like whatever, just like stoner guy and whatnot, which I would disagree with things, but I could semi understand. Okay, and if you think that would have been better, or you would have liked that instead, or as well, sure, that's also a good idea. What but still, that's why you don't like go into things like expecting things, and you just go into what you were presented instead of just expecting things into it, and stop like assuming things off of trailers and stuff. Like, yeah, that could have been cool too, but what we got to was also amazing and well written, I thought. And also with people saying it didn't cover all aspects and it just covered one POV, it's like, yeah, it's like there's many aspects of everything. Like, yeah, that's why you make these films about like just specific characters and their POVs. Like, this covered a lot, and it actually, yeah, this is one perspective and one part of like this industry, and that's why Sean Baker has like made 5 films off of this industry with other perspectives, or
And
people doing similar things like the Florida Project and like Scarlet and like Red Rocket.
yeah, and I will add this as well. Only one point of view. Did they miss the entire scene with Iger, the henchman, the guy that seemingly was very violent and brutal? Did they miss that exchange
Yeah,
Anora and
yeah,
him had?
no clue, but yeah, his character and performance was amazing and powerful, and despite not having much to say, and that's why he got an Oscar nom for it, which was well deserved. And yeah, and again, the one character, I would disagree with them just saying he was like a caricature like that of just a stoner guy. No, I think there was more to it, but also, like, even then, like, I mean, yeah, but it's just like his other films, which people didn't have an issue with, like the one mother character in the Florida Project, which is why I don't understand why they're having an issue with it now. That's just accurate though with a lot of people. There are a lot of people just like that who are like, just the ultimate mommy's boy like that guy, and just tries to be super cool. It's like a lot of people point out, it's like, oh, he wasn't even doing drugs correctly in the film. It's like, yeah, that's the point. He had like inexperience with that. He also had inexperience with just having sex, or she had to fucking teach him things. It's like, yeah, that was the whole point, where it's like he pretends to live the life because he's using their money, but he actually doesn't. And then
It,
people brought up stupid again, another stupid nitpick, like, oh, he's not even playing video games correctly on that scene, which the actor talked about. And he said it was like intentional, partly to get back at his brother, who like annoyingly sucks at video games, but also that was also an intentional gag and joke and part of it, because he's was high all the time, and like, and it showed on the screen, on the TV, that he was being bad at the video game. That he was sucking and he didn't know the controls. So that was part of it. It's like, again, people miss these things, and they also miss that this is a comedy film as well. This is not a serious drama film. This
yeah,
is also a comedy. It's
yeah,
half half,
and
that's what I also love about it as well. Is that, like, in the second half of it, it's like the Three Stooges, and with those like henchmen that are just doing terrible job and just going
yeah,
around and just
yeah.
struggling.
But I must add something else in the video game. I think when people stop there, they don't realize what the messaging was behind the video game itself. The playful nature of Ivan, he was still a child in his mind. He was acting like one, and it was also
Mm-hmm.
to depict that Anora and him, they didn't really have that close relationship because they were sharing moments together, but they would not speak. And Anora would just be around to be around. So again, that scene has so many layers, and to say, "Oh, he was not even good at the video game," I feel like that's worse than my own critique in a lot of other movies. It's like, did you even understood that scene? Did you understood that Ivan is a child? That was
Yes,
the point.
yes, yes. And then people try to like say the editing was bad, or there were editing mistakes and sound mistakes. I legit couldn't find a single one, but maybe other people can like try to tell me where they were, but I legit couldn't find any of them. I don't know what they were quite talking about, but yeah, and again, the lighting and visuals were fantastic. Again, her performance and every other performance is just incredible in this. Again, I think it's really well written, and just with the world of it all and everything, it just does a fantastic job. And again, there is just a lot to, and a lot of emotion. Like, I really think a lot of people, again, they just got mad that like their favorite film, like The Brutalist, didn't win, which I love The Brutalist, and I might prefer it over this year, but still. And then that's what they do, and they do is every year, or they like see the high praise a film gets at first, and then they go into it with too high of expectations. That's what happened the other year with Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it was rated the highest film of all time on Letterboxd at first when people saw it and loved it, and because of that, then people said, "Oh, it's overrated. It's mediocre." And while also critiquing it really silly, not understanding that it's a mainly a comedy film, so some of those silly things in it are intentional. They're not flaws, and and then getting mad that it like won Best Picture over Tar and Banshees of Inisherin and other films. Yeah, that's just something that they do now, I guess. A lot of people online, and they also did it with Top Gun Maverick, where it had high praise at first, and on Letterbox and IMDb. And the main thing is because people were like doing it to honor Tom Cruise for his career and being a proper, like, respectful legacy sequel that doesn't try too hard, and it's in its simplicity that people love it. But people didn't understand that after who saw it at home and saw the high ratings, or were just like, why is it so high in ratings? I don't get it. It's just pretty simple, and then they just like hate on it. It's like, that's been such a trend with these films. I'm just like, stop it, just stop, just watch the movie, like ignore everything outside of it. But yeah, I really don't get like the complaint for this. Again, maybe people can like bring up others, but I really don't get it. I think they might have misunderstood some things, or I don't know. I just personally disagree, but I think Sean Baker does a fantastic job with this, and in this world and in this point of view. And with Oldham, yeah, there's probably like more might have to say later, but yeah, I just think it does a fantastic job, and with the comedy aspects and everything, yeah.
I just adore that movie, and I will
Mm-hmm.
say that like for a long time. This year actually it remained in my top 10, and now that we talk about that, I actually start to think, and yeah, I start to think that I actually liked Anora more than Companion, and Companion is one of my favorite movie that came out this year. And the more I think about Nora, the more I'm like, you know what, that movie is a masterpiece, and
Mm-hmm.
it's in my top 10 movie ever, and it will be very hard to beat that. I just think Anora is solid from start to finish. I've seen the movie at least 3 times, and I feel like I need more viewing. That movie is just that fun and good, and people misunderstood it, and people they just wanted to hate for the sake of it. That's tragic, but that
Yeah,
happens
yeah,
with a
like
lot of
yeah. There's
movies.
just so many like 2 out of 10 reviews on Letterbox, and usually I'm not trying to be sexist, but usually by females, just like, wow, that you made a film trying to like champion on the sex worker industry and stuff like this, and get show them that they're humans, but they gave her no character. She had no personality. She was just like a still cardboard image. I'm like,
But
look,
these people didn't
like, thank
understand
you.
the movie. These
Yeah,
these
yeah. I'm
people
just like
are
I'm just like
freaks.
yeah. I'm just like 100%. There are the same people who hated on the whale too and thought those same things, and because they just saw the horrible advertising and trailer that A24 made for it and then memed it, and also just saw like the last shot and at the end and out of context and memed it, which they do a lot. But just like how they saw that out of context scene of Adam Driver just punching the wall a bit hilariously in Marriage Story, and then just called the film cheesy and horrible off of that without understanding the context of the scene and everything leading up to it. Just like yeah, that's like the film Twitter crowd though in a nutshell.
And I will also add this: it's tragic when you really think about it. One of the antagonists of that movie, the other stripper that's jealous of Anora, and when Anora get engaged and all, she's like, "That will only last a week," and she was freaking right. And it's sad and funny at the same time. I think that kind of humor is wonderful because it feels very real. Because sometimes you can laugh very sad things, and that was the case there because the antagonist, the big girl that's annoying and that's there just to piss you off, she was right. And it's sad, and I don't think at any point that movie glorifies that industry. I
Yeah,
I'd even
yeah, like
say
that's the other thing, like he like I will say though there was like one mistake though. Yeah, yeah, no, it was the like again an accurate portrayal of the sex worker industry, which it is. Again, people who like say it isn't or bring up like it didn't show enough the dark sides of it, like the people who like rob others who work in it, the STDs, other things. I'm just like,
that
yeah,
wasn't the point
that
of the movie.
yeah, yeah, yes. I'm like, yeah, that's another side. This is just one side of it, and he's made films on those other sides of it too. So I'm just like, but also I will just say though, like again, it wasn't just champion it on, completely. I think people misunderstood him and also his Oscar speeches. But I will say though, yeah, Mikey Madison, yeah, did go a little too far with it of just like fully supporting sex workers and everything. You're the heroes in her Oscar speech. I'm like, yeah, that was too
Stupid.
much. Yeah, that was a bit stupid on her part. I don't know if it was like her publicist who like told her to say that stuff, or like she did just on the fly, not thinking right. But yeah, could have maybe left that part out. But yeah, it's still
So I just think that movie is solid. People ate it for the sake of it, and A lot of people didn't understand the movie, and again,
Hmm.
uh, that movie, I think parts of what they were trying to say is it's really rewind. It's really hard to have genuine connection and genuine love in that industry because most of the exchange you have, especially with Anora, it's a transaction. That's what's going on. They're paying you for a service, and it's sad. And I think parts of the charm of that movie is how it's both sad and very
Yeah,
funny. It's
yeah,
a comedy, but that tackles very sad
yeah,
matters.
yeah, yeah, and it shows like all the issues with it too, and also like again the persona she has to keep up and how it consumes a lot of them. How they also kind of act that way, just like outside of it too at a certain point, or then with her and also him, then how sometimes then they forget that it's all just a service and they think might be something more, you know, which sadly a lot of people forget and get consumed by and with this stuff and thinking like there actually is like true love to it,
And
but
they want to live that dream
yeah,
world.
yeah, yes, yes, and also maybe there is like again there is in some cases in real life, sure, like actually no Joker brought up like some story of like one of his friends where that actually happened with some sex worker before or a stripper, but still, yeah, it's just not the case like most of the time though, or the majority of the time.
And again, the final scene of that movie, I don't know if I will repeat myself in that video, but the last scene with Anora just kissing and being all cozy with Iger, that was probably one of the saddest moment because
Hmm.
she wants to thank Iger. She wants to show her love and appreciation for the guy. So what does she do? She tries to sleep with him, even if he's probably gay, and uh, that's the only way she feel like she is worthy. That's the only way she feels like she can bring something to someone. It's
Yeah,
by
it's like
sleeping
didn't
with
know what.
them.
Yeah, didn't know anything else, and there's just a lot, and there's so much more to that scene. There's like so many messages and thought provoking things with that whole last sequence and everything, with both characters and everything she really realizes and stuff. It's like just really, really emotional and just heartbroken.
And again, that's the charm and the beauty of that movie, and that's why I like it so much. And now I just defeated Companion, and I like Companion a lot, but the more I think about both movies, the more I feel like, you know what? Actually, for all of that time, like for like 6 months, I thought um, Companion was slightly better and above Anora, but we talked about Nora, and I'm like, you know what? I I was wrong. The entire time I was wrong. Anora is slightly above that masterpiece that was Companion, and I think Anora is underrated. Any other thoughts, Cole, on Anora or any
Yeah, well, I
filmmaker?
can't say it's underrated because a lot of people have seen it now. It's his like most popular one, and it won all those awards. Like he literally like made history. He won 4 Oscars in that night for the same film. He won for editing, directing, screenplay, and best picture. That has never happened before with one individual for the same film before. There only been one other time where somebody's won 4+ Oscars like that, and that was Walt Disney, but it was for different short animated films and stuff that he did. So yeah, so I can't say it's underrated. Like no, that like that isn't accurate. But with all the people who like turned on it just because of that silly, in a silly way, like I would say it's like overhated or like I don't know.
Overrated, yeah.
I don't know. I would say like I just I wouldn't say like underrated, but just some other word. Just I would say like it did deserve everything. I don't know if I agree with giving him 4 Oscars for in the film 5 Oscars that night, and I do maybe prefer other performances that year too. Like I would maybe prefer I don't know. I would have to think about it. Like maybe Demi Moore was better. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it did deserve, I think, the reception it received. And yeah,
What would be your grade out of 10 for
uh,
Anora?
yeah. Well, this is gonna make some people, some pretentious people that I know, really mad, and the type of people who literally just criticize it, just being like, "Oh, it's just a film about some fucking slut." But yeah, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Yeah, because yeah, there's sadly people like that that I know, and people are like, "The Exorcist is just shock value." I'm like, "Are you okay?" But anyway,
And I'm with you on that. I also gave Nora a solid and well deserved 10. And as of right now, Nora is my eighth favorite movie among all. And I've seen a lot of movies thanks to you. That's amazing.
yeah,
I discovered that passion for movie. Thank you very much, Cole.
yeah,
And
yeah, no problem. But you still have lost all credibility for putting "Hurry Up Tomorrow" as your favorite film of all time now.
anyhow, now we get into a very interesting aspect. Um, we talked about Sean Baker for an hour now. What would be your ranking of all of the Sean Baker movies?
Yeah, I would put probably take out last 8 out of 10 or so. But again, I need to rewatch it. But yeah, then I would put Tangerine just barely above it there, like an 8 or 8.5. Then I would put Scarlet there as like at an 8.5 to 9. Then I would put Red Rocket there at 9. Then I would put the Florida Project there as at like a 9.5, and then I would put Anora there at 10.
And it's amazing. For once, we are on the same page.
Yeah.
My least favorite was Takeout with a 8.5. It was
Mhm.
then followed by uh, Tangerine, that was a 9.7, and Starlet 10. The Florida Project, no, no, no. Red Rocket, Red Rocket 10, and then Florida Project 10, and then Anora 10. I like Anora so much.
Yes, I agree. And if you like these films a lot, then again, I would recommend. Again, I forgot the director's name, but again, she did the film called First Cow, so you can look her up. But also the Safdie brothers, which again, were going to be on my list before I stopped doing the podcast regularly, and because I think you were having issues with watching it at the time. But yeah, and I mentioned them as comparison during these movie reviews. But if you liked these Sean Baker films, so I would watch the films of the Safdie brothers if you haven't seen them yet, because I think you would likely love them a lot too. Just remember though that the things the characters do in them, it's intentional, like stupid things are in because they're like addicts to things and they're just like keep messing up. So it's kind of like they're kind of like anxiety films that just make you anxious watching them. Is the best way to describe them, but they've made like a handful of films, but some of the earlier ones are kind of hard to find and are very indie. But I would at the very least watch. I'll rate them in the private chat right here. Um, it's these three and Heaven Knows What and A Good Time, which stars Robert Pattinson and it also stars one of the Safdie brothers as an actor in it too, and that's how he kickstarted his acting career. And then he later did stuff in like Licorice Pizza, and he was an actor in Oppenheimer. He was like one of the guys who kind of like turned on him, if you remember, like one of the Russianish guys, the one who kind of sounded like that, who was like Emily Blunt refused to shake hands of at the end in that flash and back into the future. But yeah, he's a great actor. But yeah, and then Uncut Gems stars Adam Sandler, which yeah, I really think was like one of the best performances of the year. Honestly, yeah, Adam Sandler can be an amazing actor, like in Punch Drunk Love. In this, he just doesn't try most of the time. He'd rather do his shit comedies, but he's been trying lately again. So yeah, I would recommend those three mainly by the Safdie brothers, and then um,
Send it on Discord so
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
it saved somewhere.
I'll resend it, but yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll also send the directors' names and just the ones I recommend the most, I guess, like those ones. But yeah, I'll send that all.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, if you like these films, and yeah, you might like those. Just, but yeah, and I would also write. I'll also write down the other ones from that. I guess the director of Hurry Up Tomorrow, the ones that are actually good, because they're excellent films, so you should watch them. Yeah,
I keep getting roasted, and that will never end.
yeah, deservedly so. That was like a neo fucking brain film.
I'm the only one on earth that liked it so much.
Yes,
Anyhow,
yes, yes. I'm going to show you videos of Neil Breen films, like highlight clips of them, and just show you how that's what the film is in a nutshell.
amazing. Anyhow, any closing thought on Sean Baker?
No, that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you a lot for sharing. I think I had a great time talking about movies once again, and we are out. Another scene Baker, just for you. Now, we have seen many aspects of streetwalkers and their lifestyle and how they treat people like shit. We get more of that with Red Rocket. And this time around, I don't know any way I can make it PG. I don't know any way I can make YouTube accept what I will be saying, but at that point, I need to say it and address it. This movie addresses how predatory it is to be in the adult industry. And it was also very uncomfortable to see a teenager doing what she did. At least it was on purpose. It was part of the message. And it's the only movie with an underage character that's deep with grown up and such. So I'll give a pass to Sim Baker there. And I gave a pass to Andrea Arnold anyway, but that was a trend. And here it's not really a trend, it's just yeah, it's predatory, it's disgusting behaviors, and people in that industry are broken and they break others. And it's tragic, it's sad, it's life. This movie tells the story of a failed uh, adult actor. Uh, he basically comes back in his hometown to pretend bonding with her wife, his wife. What am I saying? So he goes back to live with his wife in that town, and he's known to be that actor. And because of that, well, what's going on? He will struggle to get jobs. So you need to sell stuff you shouldn't be selling. And because he sees a big chunk of gold, because he sees the money, he exploit as well a girl that says she will turn 18 soon. But like apparently that movie is like a few weeks, few months, and she never turns 18. Yet they still fly in the sunset at the very end. Maybe I misunderstood the ending. I don't know. But to get back on track, we got that main character he bonds with his step family and his wife and with that teenager because he wants to use her. Disgusting, right? It's the industry for you. So this is why if you support that industry, well, think twice, please. It's also interesting how they address some people needing pills to perform. It's interesting. It just tells you another side of that toxic industry that is the A industry. So I think with Red Rocket you have a nice deep dive on that industry. I think that movie explain or shows a lot of things about that industry, and it's interesting. And to think about it, I think this is the only guy in that industry that we get to meet. Might be wrong. And maybe we had guys in the other two-ish Scene Baker I didn't see. I don't know, but yeah, that felt different. Red Rocket is indeed different from other Scene Baker movies. And I don't have any issue with that thing. I liked it. That was a fun trip. I think the Florida project is slightly above that, but I gotta say, that was cool. Thumbs up. 10 out of 10. Just like the other movie. So let's get into Anora. And I will already spoil you something. That was my favorite of Scene Baker's movies. I did see that movie twice. I did the stream back then, so I won't rehash too much of what I've already said there. But I will say, after watching Scene Baker filmography, I will say this is install my favorite. This is a masterpiece. Long story short, we get to see Nora. She meets with that rich Russian brat that has rich parents, therefore he has no job and he wants to escape growing up. And it's depicted through him playing video games all the time. It's also shown how he does everything to spite his mother, like marrying a streetwalker. I said it. He did it. He didn't marry her out of love, but she was kind of hypnotized by the money he had, and she dreamed of having that kind of life. So parts of Nora was believing in their fraud marriage, and she really wanted that lifestyle she could not afford. So we get a very complex and interesting duo there. Um, the teenager brat that has a lot of money treats everyone like shit, like a brat does. He lies all the time to everyone about pretty much everything up to the end when he is kind of wasted, or I should say, he is recovering from being wasted. He has some kind of hangover, and then this is when he is the most truthful about who he is. Anora tell the tragic tale of transaction. People not being with each other because they love each other, but because it's convenient and it's a transaction. Uh, it's not about true love. Can a streetwalker find true love? That movie doesn't really question that, but some of the character poke fun because they're like, "Yeah, it's not a fairy tale. Like you will be back in like 3 weeks. After like you can quit if you want, but like in 3 weeks you will be back. It's fake." And there's another truth about that movie is how broken Anora is. She is a mess. She is a shattered person that believe her only value is sleeping with others, and this is her only way to communicate her feeling with others. And that's interesting because most of these exchange of love is after she is getting paid. And there are hints that Igor is into other guys. And despite knowing that and hinting at that, Anora still wants to sleep with him for weird reason. And it was telling. It was telling because it tells you Nora cannot really love someone. Doesn't know how to love. She was never loved by men that we know within that movie. She's like the trophy wife. She's like a pawn someone else used. And it's tragic, and I think the biggest asset of Anora is the humor. I did laugh so much. And it's a very nice analysis on money, money that can be made through that industry. And it's just a fun movie. It's one of my favorite movie among all. It's in my top 10. It was in my top 10 as well of that year. So Nora is just a masterpiece in my books. I was hooked from start to finish. Things go crazy. Give Mickey Madison some Oscar, I don't know, give her more roles. She is a great actress. She made me believe she could like attack other men the way she did. She went all crazy, and we had that attack where they tried to control her so she doesn't leave, but she doesn't want to be controlled like that, so she attacks and she hurts two guys all on her own. And it's also all about perspective as well. From an aura perspective, they they attacked her, they were dangerous to her, but from Igor perspective, she wasn't never truly in danger. It was stopping her from endangering herself, which is true, not only physically but emotionally as well. Because they tried really hard to make her understand it's a fraud marriage. That was basically their job to do that. And the mother was so unlikable, like she kind of deserved the son she got. She was someone that was very hateful toward Nora, and the dad was just having a lot of fun. He's like, "Oh, my son did that. Like, he did marry a streetwalker to spite my wife. That's my son there." It just felt amazing. And the dad barely has dialogue, and yet he felt the most real among the bunch. And the same goes for Igor. I think characterization is Saint Baker's biggest asset. And I cannot wait to see more Saint Baker. I cannot wait to see more of Maddie Madison, Mickey Madison, whatever. I mess up her name. And even the actor that was playing Ivan, the love interest, he was wonderful in that role. And that movie is just so good. And there's a lot of like bedroom fun scenes, but they matter a lot to the characters and the plot. She's a streetwalker, and that's the only way she has to communicate her love. This is how she tried to bond with others. Simple like that. That movie is amazing. I recommend everyone to go watch it. And I know it can feel like an adult film and all, but it's more than this. There's more than that meets the eye. Yeah, it's a front marriage. You got it in the trailer. With this, I will give a strong 10 out of 10 to Anora. A great movie. I enjoyed a lot. If you want to hear more, go in the description below of that video where you will find a review of Anora and We Live in Time, another movie I did review the same night. So with this being said, see you soon. Maybe we will have another segment with like guests, but I don't know yet. We will see. Take care.